Good afternoon, everyone. We just joined the first grade students from Bryant Elementary as they made their deposits into their kindergarten to college savings accounts. And I'm particularly thrilled to say that families here in San Francisco have now more than $11 million saved for college in their kindergarten to college accounts. I want to extend a deep appreciation to the Bryant Elementary School staff and mission graduates who worked with us to make today happen. I don't think Miss Cole is back here today, but she's an amazing first grade teacher, and when she heard about this field trip, she personally raised funds so that each student would have at least $30 to put in their deposit today. And mission graduates has supported every student today to help, and many others across the city, to put money into their college savings accounts. I want to confess that back in 2011, then Mayor Gavin Newsom and I started this program, K2C, so that every student in our public schools would know that they have a future worth saving for. And more important than the money itself, this $11 million that's saved means that there have been millions of conversations in every household that these students live in about their possibility of going to college. That is the purpose of this program. The real research showed that putting money into a college savings account, whether it's a lot or a little, begins a conversation that ends up with children going to college. And that's what we wanted to see happen for every child here in San Francisco. Kindergarten to college promotes a college-going identity amongst all the students in our public schools. But San Francisco's not alone in this program. K2C has been replicated across the country with over 100 active college savings accounts today, reaching more than 1.2 million kids in 39 states in this country. And in 2019, California created the Cal Kids program, a statewide universal CSA program for every child born in California. Governor Newsom expanded that program in the 21-22 budget with an investment of nearly $2 billion. Yes. And that funding has resulted in our program, Kindergarten to College, providing additional funds to the accounts of students in low-income schools. I'd be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to pitch the governor and the legislature to make sure that funding gets continued in the budget and revised so that students in California get an added boost to their college savings account. But the best person to speak about this program are the students themselves. And I'm proud that Talia Miller is here with us today. Talia? Talia is a junior at Gateway High School. She's part of our first class of K2C students, and she's here today to help you hear about how K2C is impacting her future. Talia, please come on up.
Hi, my name's Talia Miller. I go to Gateway High School and I'm a junior. So when I had first found out about K through college, it was in kindergarten, and I was like, I didn't really think of it as anything. I just threw the paper away. But as I got in middle school and high school, I started to actually, think about it. And how I really found about it was in 10th grade was when I applied for it was this video contest about my future, and I had talked about how I want to be a psychiatrist, and I spoke about my background and why I want to be a psychiatrist. And I came second place in the citywide competition, hence why I'm here today to speak. And now that in the upcoming fall, I'm going to be applying to colleges, so I figured that these funds are going to really help me out. A future worth saving means to me that I'm working towards my goals and putting purpose and meaning behind them. My plan when I go to college is to major in social work so I could be a travel social worker. I want to be able to travel and also help people through traumatic experiences. Pressing a button to a college application takes a lot of work that many high school seniors go throughout their fall. It's only because some students, they may not qualify for certain scholarships or grants or may not have the assistance, or they don't even know what they want to pursue. It's easy to say that I want to apply to 20 colleges, but there's factors that I have to consider, which are financial aid, housing, and location and other aspects. I got an early acceptance into Shaw University in Charles Drew, which is in Los Angeles. I'm a college-bound student, and I feel like I exemplify Black excellence at my school. I work at Old Navy on 4th and Market, and I'm part of a rigorous academic program called SEL Scholars. As a Black scholar, I like to push myself to take many AP and honor courses. I'm also in a college class right now, and I took college classes last summer. If I were able to change a couple laws, I would ban the SAT and the ACT. Only because it was kept to keep minorities out of colleges, hence is why there's HBCUs and HSUs. And I feel like a test score should determine where you go within a 3-hour test period. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Talia. We're impressed by your success, and we can't wait to see where your dreams take you. And now, another truly impressive graduate of the San Francisco Unified School District, our own mayor, London Breed.
Thank you. Well, I'm happy to be here to celebrate over 10 years of a program that will have an extraordinary impact on the lives of so many San Franciscans, young San Franciscans, kids who we know we need to make investments to support. I loved hearing Talia's story and her excitement about pursuing higher education, but also, I gotta say, I'm in agreement with the ACT, the SAT, and when I was in college, we had to take the ACT, I think it was, and the SAT, and at the time, I didn't have money for the fees. And I gotta say, what I appreciate most is my college counselor, Mr. Eby at Galileo High School, who provided me with the guidance and the support and the understanding because I had no idea. And those applications cost, I think at the time, like $30 to $50 a pop for colleges, the SAT and the ACT, there were fees associated with that. And when I think about our young people who in some cases are growing up without the means to be able to not only afford some of the things that it requires to get into college, but what happens when you go there? What happens when you do have to start buying your own toilet paper and taking the kinds of responsibilities that if you're lucky enough to have parents and family to support you, there are so many kids who have those options. This program was innovative when our then mayor, Gavin Newsom, started it along with our treasurer, who's still our treasurer, José Cisneros. And the fact that we're here with our state treasurer, who is just a money mastermind in terms of how she can count numbers in her head and come up with these great equations of things to do stuff for Californians is really remarkable. But we're here mostly because we have to think about not just the pressing challenges that exist that are right in front of us. How do we make sure that the next generation of young people growing up in our city, our state, and our country know that there's real opportunity for them to succeed? And sometimes making these early investments, which we won't see the fruits of our labor until maybe after we're out of office, it's not sometimes very popular for many politicians to do, even though I think José Cisneros might still be treasurer. But the fact is, we do it because we believe in it, because we support it. It started with our then mayor, Governor Gavin Newsom, who has taken it to a whole nother level to support kids throughout the entire state. It continues through my budget as mayor, and I'm sure future mayors will support this program. But I gotta tell you, I am anxious to see that first kid, and I am hoping that it's Talia, that first kid using those dollars and using those dollars to enter college, but hopefully to help her throughout her entire 4-year time when she's in college. Because college is expensive. It's a huge undertaking. And the debt from student loans, and if you're lucky to get scholarships and all those, those things are going to have a tremendous impact on seeing the success of anyone who makes it through this program. So I'm looking forward to seeing this program continue. I'm glad we're here to celebrate 10 years, $11 million, over 130 programs all over the country, 36 states. This is absolutely extraordinary, and it started right here in San Francisco, California. And so, on behalf of the City and County of San Francisco, I want to officially declare it Kindergarten to College Day in San Francisco today for you, for the Treasurer. And then I would like to introduce our governor, who, as I said, came up with so many innovative programs when he's mayor. He's taken many of those programs and expanded them for all of the citizens of the state of California, and has made not only kindergarten to college a priority, but ensuring that kids have access to child care, that they're taken care of in the early days of their existence on this earth, is something that I think is remarkable, and I don't see very many leaders in this state, in this country, really talking about what we need to do to invest in kids and support them, not just in those early stages, but throughout their entire times until they get to college and until they're off on their careers, and we have a governor who believes in that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Governor Gavin Newsom.
If I may, just because the state treasurer, she signs my paycheck. If she can go in, right before me, ladies and gentlemen, Treasurer Fiona Ma.
That's okay.
Thank you very much. It's my honor to be here, and I want to thank publicly then Mayor Gavin Newsom and Treasurer José Cisneros for starting this innovative program. We always say San Francisco, right? We like to lead. We do things that nobody else has ever done, and then it becomes a statewide program and then a national program. And this is what this K2C program is now starting to become. I want to thank Governor Gavin Newsom and the legislature for putting over $2 billion into new programs. He's going to announce that I won't steal his thunder, but this administration has focused on getting kids out of childhood poverty. There are still so many children that are hungry, that don't have a place to sleep, and going to college is the priority, making sure that they are not burdened by high student loan debt. As the treasurer, I'm the banker, but I also oversee the Scholarshare 529 program. And even during the pandemic over the last 2 years, more parents have opened up accounts for their young children. It is never too early or too late to save for college. So I thank all of you for being here, and I thank, of course, our wonderful Mayor London Breed for her leadership on so many issues that impact everyday Californians. Thank you.
Now I'll come up. Let me thank the treasurer. Let me thank your treasurer, and obviously let me thank Mayor Breed for the privilege of opportunity of coming back quite literally to the same space where this initiative was announced a little over 11 years ago. In fact, I see some reporters, I think you were there, which is remarkable. You're still here as well. But what I'm so proud of and impressed by is the commitment of José Cisneros and his team to this program. And I say that because the success of this program was not predetermined. We had done something that no other state had done at the time. We had the privilege of having Arne Duncan, who flew out in the Obama administration, tipping their hat to this program as one of the nation's best practices. There was hope and expectation that we were going to stretch the minds of our children. We made the point 11 years ago, in fact, quite literally. I recall saying this at the press conference kicking this off, that once a mind is stretched, it never goes back to its original form. This idea of creating a college-going mindset at a very young age, we believed would have a profound impact. Little did we know that the data that has been collected since in small pilot programs, not just here in San Francisco, but across the country, and for that matter around the world, have not only proven that construct, but have allowed us an opportunity to understand that the impact was far greater than we ever could have imagined. This notion that you're 3 times more likely to go to college, even with a modest amount of money in a savings account, 4 times more likely to graduate with even as little as $500 in a savings account, is something that we asserted, but we couldn't necessarily prove over a decade ago. This program has been incredibly impactful. Jose said it, I think, incredibly well, this notion of all these conversations that never would have otherwise been taking shape with households. Opportunity to have a savings account and the dignity that comes with that. Well over half the folks in public education, their parents don't have access to checking and savings, yet their child has a checking and savings account in him or her name. Dignity comes with that. Respect comes from that. Different conversations emerge from that. This is not just about creating a college-going mindset. It's also about, as Mayor Breed so eloquently said, addressing the issue that defines so many other issues in our state and nation, and that's addressing the disparities that persist in this city, the state, and in our country. Not just issues around income, but wealth. We talk so much about income inequality, not enough about wealth disparities. This is also about closing wealth gaps. This is also about creating conversations around financial literacy. Why we can't figure this out as a state and nation is beyond me. The basics, being able to balance a checking or savings account, of course you have to have one to be able to balance it. And so I'm incredibly proud of this city. Close to 50,000 of these accounts. The $11 million is great, but 50,000 opportunities to create a different pathway. And you just met one young lady. I can't believe we're back, and you're so old now. And a junior, about to be senior, heading off to college. That's extraordinary. And so we're proud, and I'll just close on this, that the old frame, success leaves clues. Because of your faith, devotion, and commitment to this cause, it gave us the ability to go to the California legislature and make the case that we can bring this to every part of California. 3.5 million accounts will be established in the next 60 days. In July of this year, 3.5 million Californians are going to start with a minimum of $500 in their savings account. Some kids will get up to $1,500 in their savings account. No other jurisdiction in the world has ever done something at this scale. That's what $2 billion does for you. And the good news, and to Jose's point, and I know the strong advocacy of Treasurer Ma, we got the support of the legislature to approve this program going forward. This is not one-off. We are doing minimum of 300,000 new accounts every single year after establishing the baseline of 3.5 million accounts. We mean business. This is a big idea, and we think it will have a big impact in this state and this nation going forward. So we're proud of this. I'm excited about it. I'm honored to be back here at home. And Mayor, it is so true, and it goes to what Fiona was saying, isn't it? The future happens here first. You are, in so many ways, the city and county, America's coming attraction, not just the state of California's coming attraction. And I love that about this city. You're in the future business, as they say. And we are mining a much brighter future for tens of thousands of San Franciscans, millions of Californians, and the hope and expectation of a program that we can see replicated and expanded to hundreds, millions and more all across the United States. Congratulations on K to C Day in San Francisco.
Now we have a press conference, am I correct? And we're open for questions about kindergarten to college or anything else people are interested in asking about.
Governor Greg Lee from KTVU, your staff has kindly delegated me 2 questions. One on topic, sir. How much inspiration do you take from the success of this program in closing the wealth gap for what you've put forth with Cal Kids and what the legislature has continued to do.
I mean, all of the inspiration emanates from this program. But more importantly, the commitment, not just the passing interest of the treasurer and the treasurer's office to drive this thing. The willingness for, I know what it's like being a new mayor and you want to chart your own path sometimes, and what your predecessor might have done may not be as appealing to you going forward. The fact that Mayor Breed is here, the fact that she not only supports this program, has been promoting this program, the fact that she puts money in the budget and doesn't fight the Board of Supervisors to advance it, means everything. That's why this program, period, full stop, that's why this program is successful. It's because of their leadership, and because of them, that gave us the ability to go to the legislature and say, look at what the city and county of San Francisco is doing, not done doing. And we can do that too in every part of the state. And we were able to use some of that surplus last year, and we drove this in the legislature. I remember putting in the January budget, just pinching myself saying, even if we got it, this is kind of a secret, even if we got half the money, this would be amazing. And then, lo and behold, the legislature said, oh no, we're good with the $2 billion, but we actually want to build on that. We want to take this idea that we were debating a year prior, and that's that second program that the treasurer is managing, and now establish that more permanently for every child, not just those entering kindergarten, but every child in California gets a minimum of $25, gets the ability to get an additional $75. There's all kinds of incentives. And then that program will start to merge with this program. So we're doing, again, something at scale. It's never been done in any jurisdiction anywhere in the world, to our knowledge. And we think the consequences could be profound. And when people lament because they don't have confidence in the future and they're just feeling a little fearful and anxious, and that certain things will always continue to be, poverty, despair, I mean, this program may prove some of them wrong. And that's why I'm so motivated, excited, and so proud and honored that I was invited here today.
Governor, one more off topic. The Senate Judiciary took up your Care Court plan today, and as you know, there have been opponents to that plan, and chief among those concerns today had to do with civil liberties and potential disproportionate effect on people of color. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to respond and how much leeway you see in statutes and things that may change the initial framework of your plan.
Can I put you on the spot? I would be happy to. I mean, it's such a privilege to be here with a mayor who not only gets it, but was up in Sacramento yesterday, helping us get things done with this Care Court by advocating on behalf of not only people here in the city and county of San Francisco, but all across this state that are suffering on the streets and sidewalks because of our commitment to the status quo. She and I share one thing in common. We're not interested in the status quo. And I couldn't be more proud to have her support of the Care Court along with her other fellow mayors, but no one could speak about her position better than the mayor herself. So I'm honored that she was there and here today.
Well, I'll just add that the fact is, disproportionately, for example, what we see in San Francisco with people who struggle with behavioral health challenges out on our streets tend to be people of color. And so I don't think it's fair to continue to use that argument as it relates to what we need to do to try to help these same people who are not only struggling, but end up dying. And we have specific examples of people that we have tried to help. People who sadly have substance use disorder. The drugs that they've taken have impacted them mentally and led to real challenges that are not necessarily reversible. We're not saying that there's this one-size-fits-all solution, and we understand that people are concerned about civil liberties. But every resident of this city, you see those same people out there who might be running in and out of the streets without shoes on, this one elder woman who takes off her clothes and walks around in a blanket, and people are wondering, why aren't we doing anything? Why are we allowing people to live without dignity because they supposedly have rights to do it? And I am tired of those arguments. And so I'm going to go a step further to say, that we can't keep saying we want something to be done about those who struggle with behavioral health, and then when we propose a solution to do something that may make people uncomfortable, we shy away from it. We can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. So that's what I would say to the argument is, just imagine if the tables were turned and that was you out on the streets. That you were once this incredible reporter who dressed really nice and was able to give yourself a bath and wash your hair every day, and then one day something happens. You're schizophrenic, or you have dementia, or something goes wrong where you're not able to even pay your rent, and then the next thing you know, you're out on the streets. And people say, well, he has a right if he says that's what he wants. How is that fairness and justice? This is not about people of color, minorities, civil liberties. This is about basic human decency, and we need to be able to make the hard decisions in order to help people. Otherwise, the conditions that we deal with, that people keep talking, this is not just an issue around homelessness. This is an issue around a need to reform our mental health system in this city, in this state, and in this country. So I'm unapologetic about wanting to see a stronger stance around conservatorship, around how we deal with these issues, and everyone goes back to the Ronald Reagan days of mental health facilities. Well, we're talking about a new day. We have a progressive governor who believes in civil liberties and rights. We have mayors all over this state who believe in that. This is not what it used to be in the 60s, using this as an excuse to put people in mental health facilities. This is about helping people who are struggling, who probably cannot do things to help themselves, not just get better, but just be able to live a life in dignity. And so I push back on that and say it is time and it is overdue and we need to do it, and we can't do it locally. We can't change the laws here locally, so we need state reform around mental health, and I appreciate the governor's leadership on it.
Question off topic, David Welch, KCBS Radio. Governor, any updates on the gas rebate?
We're working with the legislature. We'd like to see a rebate move forward. People in the state need relief. It's not just gas, it's inflation, it's cost of living, which is through the roof. Inflation, 8.5%. Other cost constraints and challenges, particularly for working families. Legislature made proposals. I made a proposal. It's just about reconciling the modest differences and some technical strategies on how best to distribute the money. We look forward to the May revise coming out on May 13th, which will give us a sense of where the give us a better sense of the resources that will be available and where we'll be on the GAN requirements, and that will allow us the opportunity to engage with more specificity and earnest and move this proposal forward.
Hello, Sarah Hosseini with KQED Radio News. I had a question for the mayor, but she stepped out.
She
so
stepped out.
If you feel
I didn't even notice that. That's
that you
something
could
I was
respond
never
to
good
this.
at as mayor. I'm impressed.
I wanted to ask a question about San Francisco Chronicle's year-long investigation into how San Francisco is failing to create basic humane conditions in the SROs for formerly homeless people. And I had wanted to ask her if she is prepared to create an oversight body for the Department of Homelessness and Housing, supportive housing, but since
Love
you,
my pay grade, yeah.
I know it is, but you were also governor, you were mayor, when you had big
Well, in
plans
the
for
black and
SROs
white
as well.
movie days,
As
over
governor
11
or
years
former
ago, so,
mayor, is there anything
yeah.
you would like to say about what we can do for people who are in these older hotels and not living in really great conditions?
No, I deeply appreciate the question, especially as someone who spent the nights in the SROs, remember quite well the old Ambassador Hotel before it was converted, an SRO that I remember describing in detailed conditions. In fact, on KCBS Radio at the time, Barbara Taylor and others, I think, did some reporting about those conditions. So it's been a point of passion for years and years. We did a lot of work on life safety improvements and oversight of probably visited 2/3 the SROs in the city and county. I don't have the benefit of your reporting. I don't have the benefit of current conditions. I don't have the benefit of the status of where the city's efforts are in that space. So it'd be inappropriate, I think, for me to express opinion beyond just a broader appreciation for the essential nature of the SROs to the broader healthcare delivery and quality of life for those that are on the margins in this city, and a recognition that historically there's been an enormous amount of work to maintain oversight in terms of health and safety standards in many of the SROs in this city.
Governor Newsom, Tricia Thanani, San Francisco Chronicle, also a question off topic. I was one of the reporters on the investigation for the Chronicle, and I can tell you a little bit about the conditions. We detailed extensive issues from vermin infestations to rats to cockroaches to falling ceilings, people feeling like, it was inhumane. We found severe underfunding, inadequate staffing. Are you aware of these? And many of these were set up under you from Care Not Cash. Are you aware of any of these conditions?
Of course.
And what can
anyone
be done?
anyone who's been to an SRO anywhere in the United States understands these conditions. These are not unique or distinctive to San Francisco. It's the nature of inadequate housing supply that has not been built up over the last half century. These things were designed for a world where we have many returning GIs. We're going back in World War II as temporary housing. You have kitchens that are available for an entire floor. Many of them are private. The overwhelming majority are privately owned, managed, some under master lease programs. Nonprofits are good, some lousy nonprofits, some, so I don't have the benefit. I did not read. I'm not aware of your, and let me just be specific. It's inappropriate for me to comment about your investigation about the city and county. The mayor is a better person to ask about this, but I could just generally state that it's important to maintain life safety standards in single-room occupancy hotels as a public policy, and the role of the city and county of San Francisco is to assure and maintain that correct and appropriate oversight.
Right. So given that you are generally aware of these conditions that have persisted for a while, at a state level, what are you doing or what should be done in terms of budgeting or more oversight to improve these conditions for people?
Well, I'd like to see the local city. Well, we got the treasurer wants that.
If you could respond, Governor, as to what the state could do.
Yeah, so I would like to thank the governor, number one, for putting $500 million into additional state low-income housing tax credits over the last 3 fiscal years. This has created more capacity for us to build more affordable housing for extremely low and very low individuals, mostly in the new construction area. I agree, we need to also incentivize developers, builders to put more money back into retrofitting these existing older facilities because they do need repair. But unfortunately, we have a limited amount of bond cap at the state level. We're pushing the federal government to give us more bond cap so that we can build more affordable housing. SROs is also one of the categories that we can fund. So we need to better encourage SRO owners to apply for the extra tax credits and bonds so that they can retrofit these buildings. So housing is coming. We've approved more affordable housing than ever before, but I agree we do need to put more money into retrofitting these older hotels, especially the SROs.
Are you committing to that extra funding?
Well, we work very closely with the governor's office and the legislature, and everybody across the board is focused on affordable housing, dealing with this homeless crisis, trying to get people off the street into dignified roofs over people's heads. So yes, the governor has been dedicated to this. The federal government gave us extra 9% disaster tax credits to rebuild faster in those communities that were devastated by the wildfires in 2017 to 2021. So help is coming. Fortunately, there's just not enough resources for all of the needs, especially in the housing area. So
Thank you.
Hi, Governor Newsom. Kayla Jimenez, education reporter from the Mercury News. Thanks for holding this conference. I have an off-topic question. Since we're talking big numbers today, how do you feel about...
I'm so proud. I just want to say, and I appreciate it's off topic, and I'm not... you know what, I'm so proud. I just want to say this. This is so personal. It's not even professional. Just as a guy with 4 kids. This program, when we announced it last year, it didn't get much attention, which was amazing to me. And I'm so proud of the lives that have been changed because of K2C. What California is doing is a big, big deal. And I hope one day we'll fully start to appreciate what really, you know, sometimes we major in the minors and we miss what's right in front of us, some of the big, bold things that actually address people's feeling of disconnection with government, local, state, federal, that they don't have their backs, they're not doing things that are impactful or meaningful. This, I think, is impactful and meaningful, and I'm proud of it. And I'm proud that philanthropy is stepping up and making direct contributions to many of these kids. It's a big and exciting program. Forgive me for reinforcing it. That's me going off topic as well. You have the right to do that. I want to go off topic by getting back on topic because I'm really, really proud of our treasurers here and the incredible work they're doing. Forgive me. I'm happy to answer your question.
Thank you. Like I said, we're talking big numbers today. So how do you feel about Elon Musk buying Twitter?
Oh, I have no comment about that.
Okay.
With that in mind, let me thank everybody again for this opportunity and privilege to come back. Ms. Treasurer, it's your press conference. Anything you'd like to close with?
We're good, Mr. Governor. Thank you, Mr. Governor, for being here. Thank you, State Treasurer Fiona Ma, for being here. And thank you to the Mayor for making this kindergarten to college day in San Francisco. We're very excited. And thank you all for attending and joining our students as they made deposits. To date, the families, the nearly 50,000 families with accounts in our kindergarten to college program have $11 million of savings saved for their children's college educations. Thank you very much for being here, everyone.